Almost every AI filmmaking tutorial starts the same way. They focus on how to phrase a prompt, which adjectives produce cinematic lighting, or which model version is the current favorite. This framing suggests that if you just find the right words, the machine will handle the storytelling for you. It treats the creator as a customer waiting for a result, implying that the actual creative work is happening inside the software. This is why so many creators feel frustrated. You generate a clip that looks incredible on its own, but it falls apart the moment you cut it next to another shot. Your characters drift, your lighting shifts, and the footage feels hollow because no one is actually directing it. Today, I'm going to show you a 3-level framework to fix your editing pipeline and a checklist to help you see exactly where you might be handing over your authority to the tool. To fix this, we must address the vending machine mindset, inserting a description and expecting a perfect shot. That model works for stills, but when cutting multiple shots together, the lack of coordination makes the sequence unwatchable. AI doesn't automate the job of directing. Instead, it highlights exactly what happens when a director stops making choices and starts letting a tool decide the look and feel of a film. Traditional filmmakers have always operated with the assumption that shots will break. They design sequences to survive imperfections by focusing on coverage and assembly. They plan the edit before they ever hit record. To get reliable results from AI, you have to restore the authority stack. Level 1 is the director. That's you. Your job is to define the intent and set the boundaries before anything is generated. Level 2 is the editor. This is where you assemble meaning and hide the weaknesses of the footage. In AI filmmaking, the film is actually made in the edit, not the prompt box. Level 3 is the bottom of the stack, the tools. Their only role is to generate raw material under your direction. They are suppliers of ingredients, not the chefs. Most struggling creators run this stack upside down. They let the tool dictate the visuals, try to react to them as an editor, and never actually direct. You end up with impressive fragments that don't belong in the same movie. Character drift and inconsistent lighting are production failures that more descriptive prompting cannot fix. Reliability starts when you reclaim the top of the stack. You treat the AI as a supplier, and you remain the authority. We can see the difference between these two approaches by looking at how they handle the same scene. Urgent. Workflow A is prompt first. You imagine a scene and prompt for a cinematic wide. It looks great. You prompt the next shot, but the character's clothes have changed. You try to force them together in the edit, but they don't match. This leads to a cycle of re-rolling and tweaking language. You spend all your time fighting the tool for a miracle instead of building a scene. Workflow B is director first. Before generating, you decide what the scene must communicate and which specific shots you need to cut it. You generate only the elements required for those shots. You expect to cut aggressively, and you use the edit to make the scene work, even if the individual frames are imperfect. Finishing a project relies on this enforced authority. The specific model you use is secondary to the workflow you follow. To see if you've stepped out of the director's chair, let's look at the symptoms of an abdicated pipeline. First, you find yourself generating massive amounts of footage that you never use. Second, you hesitate to cut shots because they feel like lucky accidents you might never be able to recreate. Third, you find yourself reacting to whatever style the model outputs, rather than proactively designing for consistency. The clearest sign of a problem is an inability to state the core narrative purpose of your current scene in a single sentence. You have to view AI outputs as raw ingredients. A film isn't summoned by a prompt, it is cooked by a director. If you recognize these habits in your own work, you are currently reacting to your tools instead of directing them. Finishing your project requires a shift in how you see your role. Your assignment is to take one scene you're working on and write down its purpose in one sentence. Then list 2 visual details that must stay consistent. Do not generate anything until those 2 things are locked. Tell me in the comments, what is the largest amount of footage you've ever generated for a project that you ended up abandoning? Reclaiming control of your process is the first step. Next time, I'll show you the 6 specific kinds of drift that break AI films and exactly where they sneak into your production pipeline. Once you can name them, you can stop them.